friends. Welcome to the Ed Show from Minneapolis tonight. May I say, I'm impressed. Congratulations, Mr. President. But, of course, it didn't take long for the right-wing idiots in this country to crank up the hate machine again. In case you hadn't heard, the President of the United States has won the Nobel Peace Prize that happened today.
I am both surprised and deeply humbled by the decision of the Nobel Committee. Let me be clear, I do not view it as a recognition of my own accomplishments, but rather as an affirmation of American leadership on behalf of aspirations held by people in all nations. Throughout history, the Nobel Peace Prize has not just been used to honor specific achievement, it's also been used as a means to give momentum to a set of causes. And that is why I will accept this award as a call to action, a call for all nations to confront the common challenges of the 21st century.
And, of course, there isn't one thing that this man can do that would make conservatives stop the never-ending stream of hate they push on this country. He tries to shut down Gitmo. They say that he wants to put terrorists on American streets. He loans money to the car industry, and, of course, they compare him to Adolf Hitler. He tries to pass universal health care for all Americans, and the conservatives, what do? They show up at rallies loaded with guns and despicable signs. He tries to get the Olympics, and the righties across America, heck, they're high-fiving, cheering for Rio because they won the doggone thing. I mean, they hate this guy because he's a Democrat. They hate him because he's a liberal. And I'm starting to think that they hate him because of the color of his skin. And it's time somebody says that openly. The only people in the world that are condemning Obama winning the Nobel Peace Prize are, let's say, Islamic terrorists and the intellectual terrorists in the Republican Party. I mean, there will be no bipartisan compromise on any issue until the hate merchants on the right start acting like Americans again. Are we against everything on the right? Face it, America, the world thinks Barack Obama is a tremendous guy, and you'll never hear that out of the Republicans. He has a vision, and it's not good enough for the conservatives. Here's the statement from the leader of the Republican Party, Michael Steele, today. Quote, "The real question Americans are asking is, what has President Obama actually accomplished?" Well, here's how the real leader of the Republican Party reacted to the news today.
He's basically emasculating this country, and they applauded today with this award. They love a weakened, neutered United States. How can he confront a ruthless adversary as the winner of the Peace Prize? He has been given the Peace Prize precisely so that he doesn't surge in Afghanistan, so that he doesn't take on Iran. The Nobel Committee today just suicide bombed itself. They destroyed themselves far more than we ever could with this award.
Well, when this is all you can get from the Republican Party, it's no wonder that you see their undereducated followers show up with guns at town hall meetings. This won't stop their greed that has turned to the ugliest kind of hate that we've ever seen in this country in decades. The greed will never stop. The hate will never stop towards Obama from the right. And it goes way beyond disagreeing about politics. This underscores that the world understands that America as a country is trying to get away from the conservative rule and misguided leadership we've had over the last 8 years. Get your cell phones out tonight, folks. Want to know what you think about all of this. Will Americans view President Obama's Nobel Peace Prize win as a good thing or a bad thing? Text A for good, B for bad to 622-639. We'll bring you the results later on in the show. All right, joining me now tonight is Republican strategist Ron Christie. Ron, good to have you with us tonight.
Ed, always nice to be with you.
You bet. You have said, you've gone on record saying that Obama getting the award is a serious joke. Why is it a joke, Ron?
Well, I think it's a serious joke, but I don't think it's a reflection of President Obama. I think it's a reflection of the Nobel Peace Prize Selection Committee. The man had only been in office for 12 days. The nomination deadline was February 1st. He had been in office for 12 days. To look at the previous two presidents who were sitting in office when they received the award, Theodore Roosevelt in 1906 for mediating an end of a war with the Russians and the Japanese, and of course Woodrow Wilson for helping end World War I and the creation of the League of Nations, I sit there and think, how can these people, after President Obama has been in office for only 12 days, think that he is on the same stature level as the previous two sitting presidents in the office? That's my problem with it. It's a joke.
So the process is what you're struggling with. What about the response and their reasoning behind all of this, Ron Christie? His extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation between peoples. His outreach to the Muslim world and attempts to curb nuclear proliferation. You think those kinds of things just don't measure up to this?
No, Ed, I don't have a problem with that. I think it's important that the president's reaching out to different communities, different nations around the world, different peoples, and he is the president of the United States, and we have to respect him for that. My beef and my problem, again, he hadn't done those things in the first 12 days, Ed. My question is, why did they think after he had been in office for 12 days, did he deserve to be nominated for such a honor, such a privilege in the company of Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, and whatnot after 12 days? I just didn't see it.
But, Ron, you can easily see the impact that this man had on the dialogue, the global dialogue about where we need to go in the human race, if I may put it that way. The response that he got overseas and all of the communication skills that he's got to bring people together, and the acceptance after what we had been through going into Iraq on false intelligence. I mean, I'm not going to dispute the fact that, there are others who may have a better resume when it comes to it. But when you look at their reasoning, only very rarely has a person to the same extent as Obama captured the world's attention and given its people hope for a better future.
Well, it's
why can't the conservatives accept the fact that this man has grabbed the attention of the world and it's positive?
And I, as a conservative, will tell you that he has captivated the world's attention. I think there's no question about that. But I don't think the Nobel Peace Prize should be an aspirational award of, well, we think you're going to do great things. Look back to 1997. They gave it to Yasser Arafat for what they believed he was going to be a man of peace, and of course he turned out to be a terrorist. I think that if they would have been wiser, let the president be in office for a couple of years, let the president try to mediate peace in the Middle East, let him try to draw down the war in Afghanistan and Iraq, let him accomplish some concrete and tangible benefits, Ed, before they give a man an award based on him having been in office for 12 days. I just think that they made a mockery of their own process, and I think that the people from now on are going to look and say, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa,